Hey guys, just here in John McLaren Park. Ain't no one here except me and mosquitoes and dog walkers. So we might get interrupted by the other two. um, so yeah, today of all things, I wanted to talk to you about nutrition. Nutrition is something that a lot of people just kind of give up on because it has to do with numbers and math and it's just kind of confusing sometimes. Kind of wanted to do like a nutrition 101 just real quick, and then go through some examples of eating like a typical American, and then also go through a day of eating high carb, low fat, which is something that I do and that I could attest to working for weight loss and energy and the promotion of performance, doing like activity. So activities could be like running, cycling, anything active. So nutrition in its simplest form can be broken down into two categories. That's micronutrients and macronutrients. Some examples of micronutrients would be vitamins, so vitamin D, vitamin C, all your B vitamins, your E vitamins. Minerals, so things like magnesium, calcium, trace elements like zinc and copper, and amino acids. And then there's macronutrients, which are fats, carbohydrates, and proteins. So to be healthy, you kind of need a little bit of everything. And the way food is measured, so on the back of everything you eat, there should be like a nutrition panel. It shows you how many calories are in it, how many fats, how many, like, if there's any vitamins, minerals, things like that. These are all measured in a vacuum, which are in the 90th percentile of being correct. Within that vacuum setting, everything's fairly accurate for that session, but everybody is different. Everybody has a different metabolism, so it's going to break down differently for everyone. So some measurements to keep in mind is 1 gram of carbs equals 4 calories. 1 gram of protein equals 4 calories. 1 gram of alcohol equals 7 calories, and 1 gram of fat equals 9 calories. So keep these measurements in mind as we go through the example days of a typical American diet and a high carb, low fat diet. Okay, now on to our example days, the typical American diet. So I kind of went all out on these days. These are some of the things that I used to eat not on a daily basis, but if I was truly not giving a fuck, I would eat these things. Okay, so breakfast. I've recorded all of this in Cronometer, and if you haven't used Cronometer, please use Cronometer. It's a free tool, the free tool on the web, but it's $2.99 for the mobile app. The reason why it's $2.99 is sort of a convenience factor, because you could scan multiple foods, you could scan the barcodes and get the nutrients, and you don't have to type everything in. But it's a free web tool, and if you actually log what you eat every day, it's pretty surprising what you're putting in your body. Okay, typical American breakfast is I woke up and I made 2 eggs. I had 2 slices of bacon. I also had some baked potatoes that were sort of chopped into cubes. Sausages, I had 2 of them. And for whatever reason, I put maple syrup on the eggs because I used to do that. I had a cup of milk. I had a cup of coffee, salt, pepper, and then I just put, later on in the morning, I had water and a Nature Valley granola bar. And that equals just over 1,000 calories, but the amount of fat that you get just from the breakfast is already at 86% of what you should have for the day. I'm supposed to have 65 grams of fat for the whole day, and just in the morning, eating 1,000 calories, I had 56 grams of fat. So that's a pretty fatty breakfast. Okay, on to lunch. So lunch, I had a roast beef sandwich with chips on the side and a soda. Specifically, I had roast beef, Swiss cheese, sourdough bread, lettuce, tomato, mayonnaise, mustard, potato chips on the side, a Coca-Cola, and an iced coffee. And I hit my protein for the day. I surpassed my fat for the day. And right now I'm at 90 grams of protein, and it should be 56. At the end of the day, it should be around 56. For fat, I have 89 grams. I'm supposed to have 65 for the day. This has been a slamming day so far, so let's go on to dinner. I had a steak, a T-bone steak, 8 ounce. I had A1 steak sauce, salt, pepper. I had a baked potato, so think of like wedges on the side, meat and potatoes. Also, I put asparagus on the side. Also, I had red wine, 1 cup. Later on that night for dessert, I had Ben & Jerry's cookie dough, and then I had some 12 ounces of water. So that finished out my day of almost 170 grams of protein. Way too much protein. More importantly, way too much fat. Well, 203 grams of fat out of 65 that I'm supposed to have for the day. So on this day, note that I did not do any exercise. I just woke up and immediately started putting fat into my body. For lunch, it was a sandwich. It was probably the best part of the day, but still fatty. Again, way too much protein. And then for dinner, more fatty stuff, and definitely more fat, and definitely way too much protein for the day. On this day, because I didn't work out, my typical metabolism is 2,626 calories. And then for this day, on eating shitty, I had over 4,000 calories. So you could see on eating like this on the daily, or every other day, or 3 times a week, or 4 times a week, you can get sort of pretty plump pretty fast, just because you're filling your body with a bunch of fat that has a bunch of salt in it. And the reason why the calories are so high is because of our legend. Remember that 1 gram of fat equals 9 calories. Okay, so on to the high carb, low fat day. So this is my typical day, is that I'll ride my bike to work. It's like 22 minutes, 23 minutes. And right away before I eat anything, I'm already burning calories. I'm already burning 260 some odd calories. When I ride home, I burn a little bit more because I'm going uphill, and that's typically around 350 calories. But right away in the morning, I'm burning calories. The only thing I eat in the morning before a ride is 8 ounces, 12 ounces of water. But on this day, I actually did start the day with eating 1 banana. I ate an energy gel, which is 200 calories, 12 ounces of water, and then I went to work. And then when I got to work, I had a Mighty Mango juice, 4 small bananas with raw sugar on top, and then another 8 ounces of water, and that was all for the morning. Nothing else. I didn't eat it as soon as I got to work. It's kind of spread out until lunchtime. And in that breakfast, I had almost 1,000 calories, and 90 to 95% of that is all carbs. There's very little fat in that morning of breakfast. The only fat are, oddly enough, in the bananas, and that's roughly like 2 grams of fat. For lunch I had, and not in this order, because I think I entered it weirdly, fresh orange juice, rice with sriracha, a beet salad with arugula, and then I had another Mighty Mango later in the afternoon, and more water. And that lunch time, I ate over 1,000 calories. Again, I'm still in the 90th percentile of carbs through the day, and probably at this point at 5 grams of fat, because there might be some fat in the rice. I'm not sure, but Cronometer just adds a tiny bit of fat anyways. For dinner, I ate a rustic batard. This is basically a whole loaf of bread, and then I usually dip that in pasta sauce. Sometimes I put habanero in it. On this day, I didn't. When I get home, I'm super thirsty, so I drank 64 ounces of water. And then in one of those water bottles, I put Scratch, which is a hydration mix. And for that dinner, it was 1,460 calories. So for the day, I had 71 grams of protein. I'm only supposed to have 56, but I went 127% over protein. So never say that vegans don't get protein, because there's a little bit of protein in everything. Most importantly, this is a 10-gram day of fat. I only ate 16% of what I'm supposed to eat for fat for the day. As far as calories, what I'm supposed to burn, keep in mind that my Cronometer connects with Garmin. Whatever Garmin says I logged as far as calories burned is what Cronometer logs as calories being burned. So everything's very relative. And as far as activity, if I put in a very hard effort on the bike, then that shows through Garmin, which connects with Cronometer, and therefore the negative calories get counted. But on this day, because I cycled, I get to eat more calories because I worked for it. So on this day, I'm supposed to burn 3,592 calories, and I ended up eating 3,574 calories, which is pretty spot on. And usually some days, if I'm not feeling like I'm gonna need a few hundred more calories, like if I am just full, I just don't eat that. There's some days where I'm still hungry and I eat another 200-300 calories. That's really nothing, because in the next morning I'll just burn it off again, and then the day repeats. So some disadvantages of eating a typical American diet is that it's very fatty. You're definitely getting your protein. The body needs carbohydrates in order to have energy, but if you're eating way too much fat, the second that you have enough energy to do something, the fat is gonna hold you back. One fact about eating fat is that fat sticks to red blood cells, and your red blood cells should be moving about your muscles and giving your muscles oxygen so you can do that activity. So when you eat fat, these red blood cells kind of stick together into groups, and it will make you feel sluggish. So this is why when you want to be active but you're eating a typical American diet and you feel sluggish, that's your muscles telling you that like all the red blood cells are sticking together, and you just feel exhausted when you just went up like a flight of stairs or something easy. But if you were to do something harder, like get on your bike and go up the side of a mountain or run a mile as fast as you can, then that's when you're gonna feel sort of super sluggish, probably midway through. Also, eating a typical American diet is the #1 killer of America. It's heart disease. A lot of people just don't care, and a lot of people are just lazy, and they don't want to get out and live life and just get out and do something. They'd rather stay on their couch, eat a bunch of fatty food, and watch their TV shows, and that's how they live life. And if that's what you do, then that's what you do. That's a good life for some people. That's a better life than most people. But I'm sorry to say, it will catch up to you. Like that, eating that way every day is not sustainable for yourself. It's not sustainable for the earth. It's not sustainable for animals. It's just not a good deal. Some advantages of eating high carb, low fat is that you don't get tired. You are full of energy all the time because carbs are a direct relation to energy. You eat more carbs, you will have more energy. And because you're not eating a lot of fat, when you are doing this activity, nothing's holding you back. Your red blood cells are moving throughout your muscles, and you're able to sustain activity. Another advantage is that when you want to do activities or somebody invites you out to do something, you already have that energy in you to do that thing. Another advantage of eating high carb and low fat is that you'll notice when you use Cronometer and start logging what you eat, is that a lot of animal products are high in fat. And in order to eat high carb and low fat, you pretty much need to eliminate animal products. And so this is at first kind of easier said than done, but a couple of weeks in eating plant-based, eating a sustainable life, it's sustainable for you, for the earth, and for animals, is that after this first couple weeks, after all that nonsense is out of your system, you will feel super energized. You won't even second guess getting up from the couch, getting up to do something, do any activity, get on a bike, go running, go hiking, go swimming. You'll just have the energy to do it. A lot of the times people eat fatty foods and they feel very sluggish in the morning, so they drink a lot of coffee. This gets into the point of fatty foods bring you down, where drugs like coffee bring you back up. And you get into the cycle of eating fatty foods, which are the downers, and having coffee, which is an upper. It's a vicious cycle of crashing and being addicted to caffeine and having headaches and slipping into a depression. But a couple of weeks without coffee, without animal products, without all this fat that you don't need anyways, you will feel like $1 million. You'll have the energy to do anything. The pounds will slip away, your body weight and your BMI will equalize, and I swear to you, you will feel so good about yourself, so good that you'll advocate eating this way to other people like I am now. Maybe not as much as making a video, but still. Anyways guys, I'm gonna get going. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Hope it was informative. If you have any questions, go ahead and ask them below and I'll be sure to answer them. Otherwise guys, have a good one.
They say you are what you eat, so I strive to eat healthy. My goal in life is not to be rich or wealthy, cause true wealth comes from good health and wise ways. We got to start taking better care of ourselves. They say you are what you eat, so I strive to eat healthy. My goal in life is not to be rich or wealthy, cause true wealth comes from good health and wise ways. We got to start taking better care of ourselves. Be healthy, y'all.